First started trading, I thought finding the right perfect strategy was the hardest part, but really it was just me. My emotions, psychology, and strategy was something I all needed taken care of. So in this video, I want to talk about the mistakes I've made and things I wish I knew sooner and understood about trading. You know, we're not perfect, we all make mistakes, but these are some of the things I wish I knew before day trading so that it helped me on my career. First thing I want to talk about, which is having a real reason for trading and having a why, is very important because I think it sets the foundation of just why you're day trading in general and why you're starting, and having that real reason can take you longer than just doing it for fun, because at the end of the day we all trade for the money, and that money can lead to different problems. For example, as an immigrant family, we didn't really have the money growing up. Like, money was pretty much a big problem in my family household, and just seeing my parents grow up without the financial stability was a real motivator as well. And that's something I don't want happening in my household as, you know, a father figure, or just in general, where I could just do whatever I want whenever I want and just go to different places around the world, travel, buy whatever I want, and just, you know, help people out and not have to worry about a certain thing because I don't have the money for it, if that makes sense. Money can bring a lot of stress. Obviously, you know, having debt, or, you know, school, car damages, stuff like that, it can really solve a lot of problems. Obviously, some people might say money can't bring happiness, but I think in some aspects it can, because, you know, really it does solve a lot of problems for most people. And obviously if you lose someone, that's something money can't buy, but, you know, you can use money as a resource to help you buy happiness, or, you know, buy back your time. So I think starting off with a good foundation of, or like a why of why you want to start day trading, or it doesn't even have to be day trading, but just in general making money online or a business, you gotta have a real foundation of why you want to start something. Even for career-wise, being a doctor, dentist, lawyer, I think it's important to have something in the back of your mind why you're doing this as a career, and that'll take you further than just doing it for the money. The second thing I want to talk about is trusting yourself and your psychology. A big thing about trading, I think majority of trading, is your psychology and just being yourself and how to control your emotions off, you know, the actions that you take. It's really important that you know how to, like, kind of just be patient. It's mostly just like a waiting game, and you just click a button, but that clicking a button can mean winning or making 10,000 or just blowing your funded account. So I think first you got to really kind of build the person you are in trading, and it takes time. You know, we all lose money as a day trader. You know, sometimes you blow multiple accounts and you kind of dig yourself into this massive hole thinking like you're gonna make 10,000 in a day, but really it takes years to kind of just master your emotions. And sometimes even the best traders still lose. Losing is inevitable, but, you know, it's how you kind of come back. And I'll talk about another topic later in this video that is gonna help a lot with that. And people, when they lose one trade, they make it where it's like a big thing and affects their whole day, but really it's something you start to kind of separate yourself from the money aspect, and sooner or later you'll start to just trade off how you do things properly, and the risk that you put in with each trade. And you can't let that emotion get to you, or once you do, everything you have just gets blown away. So really, it really also starts in your day-to-day life. Like, you can't be disciplined in the market if you're also not disciplined in your daily activities in life, or your daily habits that you have. So whether you wake up late at 9:30 market open and you're already on your phone with iWax in your, you just got out of bed and you're already scrolling, or you sleep late, you eat junk food, there's always a change someone can make, and it's always for the better. Some people might not realize that until later, but at some point you realize how changing your everyday habits or lifestyle can change your performance in the markets or just being a trader in the whole. So if you don't trust yourself, whether that's like, with your strategy or in the market, that means you don't really trust yourself as a person. So you really got to build that confidence if you're looking at the market, and really just go off your instincts and just don't second guess, because when you start second guessing, it just, things get messy. The third thing I want to talk about is risk management and just over trading in general. I'll try to keep this one kind of quick, but it takes some time to kind of get in control with the amount of trades you take, or revenge trading, FOMOing, and just end up blowing your accounts. You really gotta sit down with yourself and kind of like, I don't know, if you want you can journal it if you want. You just gotta realize that every decision you make, whether it's over trading, take another trade even if you lost the first one, we all know what we're not supposed to do. We shouldn't be over trading, we shouldn't be over leveraging, stuff like that. Like, if you have one win for the day, just hop off. Don't be going to different sessions, just stick to one session, one strategy. Just don't do too much, because we all know that it's not something we should be doing. And at the end of the day, in the back of our mind, when we're about to make that decision, we know we're not supposed to, but greed gets to us, and it happens. It happens to me every day sometimes, well, not every day, but we've all experienced that. So when you're about to make that second trade and you're about to click that button, just know that you know what the consequences are, and if you lose it and you blow your account, that's just your fault, that you made that decision and there's no going back. So it takes some time, but you'll soon to realize that once you start making these micro adjustments, you see the leverage in the long run. You'll get better with the kind of trades you take, the A+ setup. So less is more. The fourth thing I want to talk about is journaling your trades. I think journaling is something didn't really look at when I first started day trading. When I first started trading, I didn't really journal at all, honestly. Yeah, I didn't until maybe a year ago or less than a year ago. And when you start journaling, you see a lot of improvement, actually. You might not see it at first, but you write down the mistakes you've had for each day, and it's good to I'll kind of talk about the things. If I were to journal, I usually write down my bias for the day, where it draws on liquidity or stuff like that, and my strategy, why I entered, what I entered off of, how I felt for the day, how I was feeling before and after the trade, and just any additional things I want to add, if it was like what I could done to improve, like my execution, or a mistake I've made where I waited too long or something like that. So adding these just fine-tune stuff into your journal, and you see that live, so you kind of just see your mistakes real time, and the next time you trade, you know not to make that same mistake, and you kind of improve on that. So I think journaling is it's really important when trading, because when you start to journal, you write all these mistakes you've made, the improvements you made, and next time when you go take a trade, you know not to make that same mistake, or you know when to enter, or you know that this execution was good enough. So it's also something where you kind of keep yourself accountable for. You write down all your journals. I usually keep in my notes app or TradeZilla. There's a little journaling section in there. So it's like everyday thing you should pretty much do when you hop on the charts. You don't even have to do it if you don't take a trade. You could just, if you saw the market in the morning, didn't take a trade, you could still add it in there just for sake. So I think anybody who starts trading should start journaling since day one, because it's something that helped me a lot, and I wish I've done it sooner. All right, the last thing, number 5, I want to talk about is focusing on yourself. Block out the noise, block out all of those influencers. You don't have to unfollow them, it's not what I'm saying, but just stick to your own strategy, stick to one mentor if you have one. I mean, obviously you can go watch their videos and just stick to their strategy if you're using them, but what I'm saying is just don't consume or don't take in too much info about other people's criticism or market analysis. So just stick to your own rules, your lifestyle, your own trade, journal how you feel like it. You know, you don't have to even do what I say. You just take some tips and maybe, do it your own way. And I think what really messed me up was seeing these traders take these bottom tick, top tick, these amazing 1 to 10 hour trades, and I look at my trade where I thought it was really good and I start to second guess, and maybe I'll go to a different trader and start learning their strategy, and you just start from day one. So really just kind of focus on yourself, stick to one thing only, one strategy, one mentor, and just back test that strategy until you have a good win percentage, and just and then make little critiques as you go, but try not to take in so much of the background noise, all the social media, what they're saying that was a good trade, but I think social media has cooked us in the most part. But I think once you start taking criticism from other people, it'll just start to kind of brain fog you. But it's always good to ask a friend or other people about your trade and what you could have done better. I think that's always something to learn, but also be careful with what you consume. I think you don't want to get controlled by social media too much and other people and second guessing your strategy, and you'll start to kind of break down and overthink everything you've done already. So someone else's setup can be great for them, but it might not be as great as for you. So don't take that personally. We all have our ways of learning something and applying it. So don't let that stop you from just being you. So trading isn't just about charts. It's about discipline, emotions, greed, confidence, and also having patience. So don't rush the process. I believe in you. Build your why, risk management, trust yourself, start journaling, and just focus on yourself. I believe in you.